hope you guys are feeling festive because today we are going to prepare a beautiful Christmas brunch that the whole family will love. I have a fried chicken and waffle board, cinnamon roll muffins, some grits and greens, as well as eggs, potatoes, and bacon. Y'all, we're going to get started with the grits and greens. Now, I did something different this time and I tried to prepare my grits in the Instant Pot because y'all, the internet told me I could do it. So I was like, let me go ahead and give this a shot. So I melted a few tablespoons of butter in the Instant Pot, and then I added some grits, some milk, some water, as well as a generous pinch of salt and pepper. Then I put in some chicken bouillon paste. I mixed everything together, making sure that there were no grits stuck to the bottom of the Instant Pot liner. I set this to pressure cook for 5 minutes with the intention to let it natural pressure release for at least 30 minutes. Now, while that was cooking, I prepared my greens. These are some very tender, sweet collard greens from my garden. And I do say sweet because once greens go through a frost, they actually take on a sweeter flavor because they produce sugars to keep them from freezing. So I'm going to take out the stem and then I am going to roll together my greens. I have a combination of mustard greens, collard greens, and as well some kale. I'm going to cut these kind of on the thinner side. I'm looking for about 1/4 of an inch because I'm going to eat them with the grits. I don't want big chunks of greens. If you cannot find like young collard greens, the best substitute is kale because we are not going to cook these greens very long. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do a sweet and spicy type of green that will pair perfectly with some cheesy grits. I have about 3 slices of thick cut bacon. I'm going to saute these until they release their fat and become crispy. Then I'm going to take out the bacon, and y'all know we leaving that bacon grease. Baby, that's that hip piggy gold. Okay. Right into that bacon grease, I'm going to add in half of a thinly sliced onion and begin to saute this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then put in about 2 cloves of minced garlic and saute that about 30 seconds. Then I am going to add in all of my greens. I am not going to add in a bunch of water or anything like that. These are kind of going to fry in their own juices. I'm going to season these greens with smoked paprika, buttery garlic seasoning, some crushed red chili pepper, garlic, vegeta, as well as some chicken bouillon. Then I'm going to put in some dry white wine and some honey. Now look, don't knock the honey until you try it. It is going to bring out a really nice sweetness in the greens. And remember, these are sweet and spicy greens. So this is going to be a great little alternative to some of your typical greens you might eat. I'm also putting in some hot sauce, some apple cider vinegar, and just a touch of water just so the skillet does not run dry. I am going to cook these greens until they are tender. Since these greens are young, it's only going to take about 10 minutes. You don't want to overcook these because you want to maintain that beautiful, vibrant green color. So y'all, let me tell y'all what happened with my grits. So once the Instant Pot came to pressure, it then gave me the burn notice. So I suspect the grits were starting to stick to the bottom of the liner of the Instant Pot. However, since it was pressurized, I decided to just let it natural pressure release for 30 minutes like I had decided in the beginning, just to see if the grits would cook, because y'all know it's still hot up in there. The grits ended up fully cooking while it was depressurizing, and everything worked out. There was no burnt grits or anything like that. So I just adjusted the seasoning of the grits with cheese, butter, a little bit of half and half, salt, pepper. You could add a little more chicken bouillon, whatever you like. And then I placed the grits on the side and I just put this on the keep warm mode. When you go to serve these, if you need to add a little extra milk or water, you just do so to loosen it up, and you can also warm them up on the saute. Next, we are going to work on that chicken. Okay, baby, I have some chicken breasts here, and y'all know I don't really rock with the chicken tata, okay? However, I wanted some boneless chicken for some nuggets, so I decided to take about 2 really fat chicken breasts and I cut them into nugget size. Now, if you do not want to make nuggets, you can buy some nuggets just from like Chick-fil-A or something like that to use with the chicken and waffle board. But see, I ain't gonna do y'all like some of these fast food people where they just be taking one piece of small chicken and cutting it in half and calling it 2 nuggets. We got some meat today. All right. Have y'all ever marinated y'all chicken with a little pickle juice? Baby, just put a little bit. Okay. We don't want, heavy pickled chicken. I'm also going to put in about 1/4 of a cup of hot sauce. And then I will cover the chicken with a bit of buttermilk. Now, y'all, you don't need to be ashamed to use no MSG. Honey, when you buy those nuggets from the fast food, they are putting MSG in them to make them taste better. Just a pinch. This is about 1/4 of a teaspoon, and all of the chicken is just fine. I'm going to add 1 egg and about a tablespoon of mustard. Then I'm going to mix this well. The only other seasoning I'm going to add is a little bit of salt. Then I'm going to cover this and let this sit at room temperature for about an hour to marinate. Once this chicken has come to room temp and is well marinated, I'm going to prepare the breading. I have some self-rising flour. I'm going to use about 3 cups. I like to use self-rising flour because it already has baking powder in it, which will help your chicken be extra crispy. Now I'm going to go in with all my spices. I have some chicken bouillon, some garlic butter seasoning, some smoked paprika, just a little bit of salt, and I'm going to mix this together well. If you like the breader that I am using, I'm going to link this in the description box. However, you do not have to use this. You can use a bag, just some Tupperware, whatever it is you want. I'm using this today because my mama got it for me, okay, and I appreciate her. And also because I'm doing so many pieces of chicken, especially all these little pieces of chicken, I just think it's a bit easier when you have something like this because I can do so many pieces at one time. Once I have loaded up about 1/3 of my chicken pieces, I'm going to flip the breader back and forth quite a bit so that I can get the chicken coated. And you will see that the excess flour has already shaken off and it is at the bottom. Then I'm going to place them to the side on a plate. I will just allow them to rest while I bread the rest of the chicken. Something you can do to save time when preparing this brunch is that you can marinate this chicken the night before and also prep the flour so that the next day the only thing you have to do is coat the chicken and fry. In my Dutch oven, I've heated up some oil to 350 degrees, and then I am going to fry this chicken in 3 batches. Do not overcrowd your pot because then your chicken ain't going to get crunchy like you want it to. Okay, now this is some baby chicken, okay, just some itty bitty pieces. So this is only going to take about 5 minutes or so for this to get golden brown. I'm going to drain off the excess water and I'm going to place this on a rack on a baking sheet. I don't like to put this on paper towels because I find that the breading will start to get mushy. In between batches, you are going to go in and scrape out any of the pieces of coating that falls into the oil. You want to do this because if you don't, then those little bits are going to start sticking to the chicken and they're going to begin burning. And it's also going to make your oil taste bad quicker. I'm going to prepare a nice little sauce to go on the chicken. So I'm going to add in a few tablespoons of butter on low heat with 2 cloves of crushed garlic and a few sprigs of rosemary. Then I'm going to add in some hot sauce as well as a bit of honey and brown sugar. This is going to create a sweet and herby coating for the chicken that is just really nice. Instead of tossing the nuggets in a bowl, I prefer to just brush the sauce over them, but you can do this any way that you want. And I am definitely not going to throw out those sprigs of rosemary. They're like candy rosemary. They are actually taste really delicious. I'm just going to break them up and spread them over the chicken nuggets for additional flavor. Now, y'all don't play with me, okay? When you doing something for a crowd, baby, you just bust out that crusties. All right, now, if you gonna do it from scratch, you gonna do it from scratch, okay? Ain't nobody gonna hold you. But a lot of y'all don't know is that when you go to restaurants, they be using that crusties, okay? So all I'm going to do is prepare this according to the package instructions. However, I'm going to add a bit of cinnamon, and I'm going to use some milk instead of water. And I'm still going to use oil, and I'm still going to use that egg, okay? You could also throw in a little bit of vanilla if you wanted to. I am going to mix this until it just comes together, okay? You don't have to get out every lump. You don't want to overwork the waffle batter. I have this cute little heart waffle maker. Now, I know this is Christmas, okay, but I just thought the hearts were really cute. So I'm going to prepare some of the waffles with the heart waffle maker, and I'm also going to prepare some other ones with a circular waffle maker that I like to use. I'm just going to let these waffles cook according to the directions on my waffle maker. Now, you can use these thin waffles, or you can also do them thick Belgian waffles, but I really have a preference for the thin waffles. Now, look, I know I'm filming a video and I'm trying to be cute, okay, but I just had to ask, do some of y'all be doing what I'm doing here? Okay, when you put that foil on your counter because you don't like that overspill from the waffle maker. That way you keep your cleanup easy. And if you didn't know, baby, you could do that, okay? So if you do not want to make all the waffles from scratch, then honey, you get a good brand of frozen waffles, and then you heat them up in your oven, especially if you have like a convection oven. They gonna come out crispy, and baby, everyone is still going to love it. It is a tradition for my family to have cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. I started doing this when I was a teenager. I would make homemade cinnamon rolls for them. And then at some point, honey, I just had to give it up. It was just too much energy making them cinnamon rolls from scratch. And so one of my brothers took over the task. These cinnamon roll muffins are way less labor intensive, but still give you that cinnamon sugar vibe. So I have weighed out my flour. I have also added in some baking powder and some salt. I've mixed that together, and then right into the middle of my dry ingredients, I'm going to put in some milk as well as some slightly melted but cooled butter. I'm also adding about a half a tablespoon of vanilla extract because, you know, vanilla baked goods are just lovely together, as well as 1 egg. Then you are going to slowly combine the wet into the dry ingredients until they are just combined. You do not want to overmix this batter because you don't want to form a lot of gluten and make your muffins tough. For the filling, we are going to use 1.5 cups of pecans, and I'm going to coarsely chop them. Now, if you got a peanut allergy, baby, this is not for you. Okay, instead, maybe you could use some raisins, maybe a little less because you don't want the muffins to get overly sweet, or you could leave this out altogether. I have 1 cup of brown sugar in my bowl. Into this, I am adding 3 tablespoons of softened butter, as well as some cinnamon and a pinch of nutmeg. Okay, don't hate on the nutmeg in the cinnamon rolls, all right? I'm going to mix that together with the 1.5 cups of pecans. Then I am going to add 1/2 of this mixture into the muffin batter, and I'm just gently going to fold it in. Reserve the rest of the mixture to the side because we are going to use that as a nice sweet and nutty topping. Once this is prepared, bring out your muffin tin, and y'all, I got the most adorable tulip holiday muffin liners. I'll leave a link in the description to Amazon where I got these from. I absolutely loved the colors, and I just felt like it made everything so special. I am going to put a little less than 1/4 cup into each muffin. I like using an ice cream scoop because it makes it easy to measure, and I can get as little mess as possible on the side of the liners. Then I'm going to divide the rest of the nut and brown sugar mixture over the top of the muffins and bake this at 350 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. You do not want to over bake these, or y'all, the muffin's gonna be dry. Okay. One thing I can tell you about this recipe is that, honey, this thing is about as good as a bakery, okay? Really easy to make, but just really delicious. For the top, you know we have to have some icing, so I have 2 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1 cup of powdered sugar, and 1 tablespoon of milk and a bit of vanilla. I just added more and more milk until the icing got to the consistency I wanted. In total, I probably used about 3 tablespoons. Now my muffins have completely cooled, okay, because you don't want this icing to just melt everywhere, all right? Then I'm going to add this on just like you would the top of a cinnamon roll. And y'all, let me know if you're going to try these muffins. I love to have some breakfast potatoes as an option to any brunch. So I'm going to do a really easy recipe today. I have some yellow potatoes here and I'm going to cut them into 1-inch cubes. Then I'm going to place them in some water while I chop all the potatoes so they do not go brown. Into a pot of boiling water, I'm adding a generous, because y'all know potatoes is bland as all get out, amount of chicken bouillon and salt. Then I'm going to add my potatoes and cook them until they are just tender. That's going to take about 13 minutes. A fork should go through, but it shouldn't be mushy. It should be slightly firmer than potato salad potatoes, okay? Then you're going to drain this and you're instantly going to put some cool water on them because you want to stop the cooking process. At this point, you have 3 options. You can either pan fry them in a little bit of bacon grease and butter on each side for about 3 to 4 minutes until they are brown, or you can cover these in a bit of olive oil or bacon grease and put them in a 425-degree oven until they are nice and crispy. Or another option, y'all, you could also deep fry them, okay, just in the same oil you use the chicken. All right, that would work too, okay, because all you're looking to do is to brown them up. Then you're going to lightly season them with a little bit of butter garlic seasoning, a little bit of Creole seasoning, and of course, some rosemary. Rosemary and potatoes go wonderful together. If you do not want to make your potatoes from scratch, another alternative is to buy some frozen hash brown potatoes and fry those up. Now, one thing you can't get from a box, okay, is these scrambled eggs. We not doing carton eggs, baby. We doing some whole yolk eggs, all right? So I've beat 6 eggs here and I've added in some butter to a skillet. A lot of people mess up their eggs because they do not know how to make them fluffy, and I am going to show you how. I have my temperature on a medium-low heat, and I'm not going to aggressively stir them. I'm going to wait until I see a little line develop around the edges of the egg, and then I'm going to gently push the eggs to the middle and the side, creating some nice, large, chunky egg folds. When I see the eggs are about 80 to 85% done, I am going to cut off the burner and then I'm going to place them to the side because they will continue to cook on their own. I'm now going to show you all how to do a simple but beautiful setup for the brunch. I just got this 2-tier marble stand from TJ Maxx. They also sell them at Home Goods and Marshalls. And I'm going to add on my muffins. Now, I had to kind of disguise the top because I did eat one of the muffins, but you'll have 6 on each level if you don't take a little snack, all right? Then on the side, this is like a marble cake stand. I got this to match the 2-tiered stand. I'm going to add my grits and greens. And then on a white plate, I'm going to add my eggs, my potatoes, as well as some bacon. Now, y'all, this brunch is just for me and my family. I am not in the food service business. We didn't let this food sit out a long time. We just went in, we just crunched this, okay? So if you are doing this for a large crowd, you are probably going to have to put these on burners and things of that nature. But baby, we just doing simple stuff, okay? The fried chicken and waffle board was just the star of the show for me. So I am first going to put down 3 ramekins. I like to set those down first because it just gives me a way to sort of angle and decorate the rest of the design. I took the waffles and I cut them into pieces and I just started arranging them in different ways around the board. It's going to look a little gappy at first, but we're going to fill those in with mounds of that fried chicken. Baby, with that rosemary hot sauce. Oh my goodness. Y'all, this chicken is too delicious. Okay, I just piled it up everywhere. The board was looking rather beige to me, so I needed to liven up the colors with some fresh raspberries. I also added in some blueberries and some blackberries, just any fruits that I felt that people would enjoy having with their waffles or just as a part of the brunch. When you are trying to decide where to put things, just simply think of having color contrast. So if you have that chicken and waffle, a tan color, go in there and add some red, then put some blue and some green. It's just going to make everything start to pop. I added blueberries to one of my ramekins, and then in the other two, I am going to add maple syrup and honey. If you have ramekins with a little spout, that would be perfect so that they can easily pour the syrup over their waffles. What do you all think of the little rosemary touches I added just to make everything look classy? With just a few other decorations and drinks, you will have a beautiful brunch. I will see you next time in Kamira's Kitchen. Goodbye and God bless.